Hi, it's Paul, and today I'm an old man with a Brompton, and I'm going to answer a question that was left on one of my previous videos. First of all, to catch up with a couple of other questions. Paul, you're not on your Brompton. No, I'm not. It's pitch black outside, which I really don't care. I quite happily cycle in that. I've got lights and ridiculous high-vis jackets and all the rest of the malarkey. But it's rubbish for making videos in, so I would be struggling talking to you in the dark. And you haven't uploaded any Brompton content in about 2 years. No, I haven't. This is not a Brompton channel. This is a channel about an old bloke who, amongst other things, happens to have a Brompton. So if I have something interesting to tell you about the Brompton, I will do so. If I don't, I'm not going to make it up just to keep the content going. That's not me. So, a question was left on the Brompton Electric bike train commute video from @surfwidow. In fact, 3 questions. And dear @surfwidow, sorry I haven't got back to you quicker on this. It's been a weekend of family events and I've just not been about. Anyway. The original question was, do you regret buying an electric Brompton? A lot of people do. No, I don't. I actually answered that. No, not in any way, shape or form do I regret buying my electric Brompton. And I also said on my comment over the weekend, now, I will do a video because there are some caveats to that. So I'm going to explore the caveats in a moment. But then the conversation went on. @surfwidow came back and said, I'm on the verge of buying either an A-line and adding a rack, folding pedals and mudguards, blah, 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 or getting a C-line electric from Brompton. I think the C-line is what they call my version, which was the Brompton. And @surfwidow is thinking of buying one of the renewed ones in order to have a warranty and some assurance to know that it hasn't been sold or it isn't being sold by someone because it's a clunker or because it's been abused or whatever. But they go on to say, I've heard so many stories about the electric Brompton on Reddit, but only the unhappy customers complain as a rule. Yes, that's very true. Those that are happy are just happy and they have no need to write prolonged diatribes on how bad it is. So they're asking for some advice. A point on that, because before I talk about people complaining, I don't give advice. One of the things I tried desperately hard not to do is actually say to people, you should do this, you must do that. Even when I've done reviews and stuff like this, I don't care. I do care because otherwise I wouldn't bother making stuff. But you need to make your decision, whoever you are, @surfwidow or anybody else, you need to make your decision according to your needs and requirements. All I can do is try and help, which is a different thing. So all I do is document my experiences in the hope that my experiences will help other people to make their own decisions. So just to be clearish on that. Then @surfwidow came back and said, can I ask, is there a real difference with the motor? I mean, can you really tell? A couple of other bits and pieces. There was also a question, I've heard you can buy another wheel, a regular hub and tyre, and hang it up in the garage and swap the two over and run it without a battery and a motor. Okay, so we will deal with all these comments. That's what this video is going to be about. So first of all, let's go back to the people complaining. Yes, people do. I only noticed after I bought my electric and had a couple of problems with it, how many people were complaining about issues with their electric Brompton. And of course, the way the internet works, particularly on social media like Reddit or Quora or YouTube or TikTok or anything like that, if it thinks you have an interest in something specific, it will throw more and more stuff at you on that topic. So if it thinks, oh, Paul, you're interested in Bromptons that have broken down, particularly electric ones, here's loads of content on electric Bromptons that have failed. However, there is also some content on people that are perfectly happy with their electric Bromptons, but at Surf Widow is absolutely correct. People don't tend to go on there and go, hey, my electric Brompton is fantastic. Or if they do, everyone immediately thinks, yeah, you're a dealer. You're getting a backhander. You're getting some sort of payment or reward. Okay, I am not affiliated, associated, connected to Brompton in any way. I am getting no money from Brompton. I'm unlikely to get any money from Brompton because I documented the fact that mine had failed, which I'm sure they're not particularly keen on. They probably don't care, actually, because I'm just like that in a huge sea of Brompton owners. But I like my Brompton. I have no issue with it. Would I buy another one if I didn't have this one? Or would I buy it knowing what I know? Yes, absolutely I would. Yes, it's expensive, but the bike itself is a very good bike. I love it. The technology that folds it down into something the size of this selfie ring that goes on the back, no, it's not this small, but the technology that folds it down to a package this size, which is actually smaller than the front wheel on my mountain bike. So the Brompton folds down to a size smaller than the front wheel on my mountain bike. That's ridiculous. It's brilliant. I love it. So I do not regret buying my bike. Some people regret buying their bikes. So let's move on to that. Have I had problems with mine? Yes, I have. I've documented it in a number of other videos on the playlist. Have a look at the playlist by all means. They are from some time ago, but they still, as far as I'm concerned, hold absolutely true. The motor failed. I claimed under warranty. They replaced the motor. Probably the only thing that I'm actually uncomfortable about is we never did figure out how the motor failed. We feel it got water in it. The mechanic and I, the guy that changed it at Brilliant Bikes, what I regret, the one thing I do regret is I regret not asking him if I could take the wheel away and strip it apart and find out what was going on inside it. That's just an engineering nosy thing. The motor failed. It made horrible grinding noises when you turned it, and it was dead. It was replaced, fixed, job done, never failed again. I have seen other people that have said their motor failed. I think mine suffered from water ingress. The only thing I can't actually bring my mind to is how that happened. I don't recall taking it swimming. I definitely took it out in some pretty torrential rain. I think that's a bit unfortunate if taking it out in heavy rain is going to kill it. And I'll be fair, I've not taken it out in heavy rain since, and I haven't had a need to. I'm now retired. I'm never going to use it for commuting because I have no job to go to. I only use it as a leisure cycle. And let's just diversify on that for a moment. I don't use it every day, not anymore. I used to use it every day. I used to go out before work and sometimes take it to work, hence the commute. I don't anymore because I don't work. If I'm going to go out on a bike, I quite often go out on my mountain bike because there's a bike park down the bottom of town and I go down there on the electric mountain bike, which is great. I can take the Brompton down there, but it's just not suitable. It doesn't work in that environment. Can I ride round the bike park on the Brompton? Yes, I can. Is it a suitable bike for the bike park? No, it isn't. So I don't take the Brompton down the bike park. So I don't use it as much as I did originally. Last time I went out on it, maybe a month or two ago, I don't know. I genuinely can't remember. But it's not unused. It's still used. It's just not used every day. But I don't regret buying it. The other problem I had was the battery disconnection issue. I still have the battery disconnection issue. I still have the battery disconnection issue. People say, no, let me rephrase that. There is a fix from Brompton for the battery disconnection issue. They changed the catch on the back of the battery bag. I have changed, or it has been changed on mine. It did not completely fix the issue. It partly fixed the issue. It improved it from that level, which was close to not very good. It went from that level up to that level, which was very good but not perfect. So if you take perfect as being up here, it's about there now for me. But I tend to treat my bikes with very little respect. I ride it around. We've got a shocking state of roads around here and bike tracks and all the rest of it. I don't care. I ride it on those. So it's going over tree roots. It's going over all sorts of things, sometimes down curbs. Sometimes I'll jump it up curbs. And sometimes, as a result of doing foolhardy, childish stuff like that, it disconnects the battery. So to counteract that, I put a cam buckle strap, like a luggage strap, round the battery in the battery mount, and I strap it on, and that takes 99% of my problems away. Some people would not be happy to do that. Some people would say it should be correct in the first place. Well, yeah, it isn't. You have two choices: deal with it and move on, or don't deal with it and get rid of it. The advantages of it to me outweigh the disadvantages. My wife uses hers a lot less than I use mine because she has back issues. It's a rough ride. The Brompton is not the softest of rides, even though it has the rubber cush suspension block, and even though she has a nice Brooks leather saddle on it. It doesn't do her back any favours, plus the fact she's got small wheels, plus the fact it's got tyres that are fairly skinny. All of those things add together and make it not a particularly comfortable ride for her because she has back issues in the first place. So riding that particular bike doesn't help. If we're on smooth tarmac, no problem. She can ride as far as I can, the same speed, blah, 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 blah. And it's comfortable then. But on the state of most of the cycle paths and stuff round here, it's not good for her. For me, I don't worry. And as I say, the only issue I occasionally get is the battery disconnect, for which I put the strap round it and so on and so forth. So that is my answer to people complaining. Yes, people complain. People will complain about anything for whatever reason they want to complain. I don't. I've lived in my work life in an area of industry dealing with warranty failures and warranty complaints and repairs and stuff on equipment, not Bromptons, nothing to do with Bromptons, big machinery. Stuff goes wrong. Stuff is not perfect. With virtually anything that you buy that's mechanical or anything else, if you look on the internet, you'll find someone complaining about, oh, this is no good. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's your phone, if it's your lighting system, if it's your car. So it is what it is. Will you potentially have problems? It depends how you ride it, where you ride it, and what you are prepared to put up with. Because I would say, in terms of the battery connection, it has a weakness. There are many people, as I said earlier, there are many people who say the replacement catch on the bag fixed it. Personally, I feel the reason for that is that, and there's a difference between mine and my wife's bike, I should also say, in terms of hers fails a lot less than mine. I think the reason for that is to do with the way the battery, the motor mount, no, not the motor mount, the luggage mount is created in injection moulding. Things happen in injection moulding, moulds wear, etc., and you get more play. On mine, between the luggage mount and the bag mount, the catch on the back, there is quite a bit of play, even with the new catch. On some people's there isn't. You've really got to shove it down and make sure it clicks in. On mine, it clicks in quite easily. On my wife's, it's more difficult. So I could be really sneaky and swap my bike for my wife's. I think she'd probably notice, because mine has 6 gears and hers has 3, but we can gloss over that. But I think that some people have got a good solution in the replaced battery catch. Mine is not such a good solution because the tolerances are greater, purely because of wear in the moulding equipment, is my guess. But I do not care. My wife doesn't have the issues I have, so she doesn't care. So there you have it. We wouldn't sell either of them. So let's talk about the third question, which was, is there a real difference with the motor? Oh yeah, 100% there's a difference, massive difference. Can you really tell it? So they go on to say, can you really tell? Yes, absolutely, you can really tell. I would say, and they go on to say, I've heard you can buy another plain front wheel without the motor and the normal tyre and swap them over. I'm not sure on that. I worry that on the electric Brompton there is a difference between the front wheel spindle. So I would ask a Brompton dealer before you go out doing that. But anyway, before you go out doing that, I would genuinely recommend find yourself an electric Brompton and try it. Find a dealer that does demos, go there, ride it about. I went to Brilliant Bikes in Surrey. They were awesome. And they gave us the bikes for a morning, and we could go off and do what we want, ride them around the park, ride them down the road, do whatever. And one of the things I did, and something I've done as a result of the motor failing since, I've ridden it without the motor assistance. I do not find any resistance from the motor. So the only advantage to taking the wheel off and swapping it for a normal one is the reduction in weight. And there is a fair bit of weight in it, I'll deny, but I'm not convinced that's enough of an advantage to actually go to the expense of A, buying a separate wheel, and B, swapping it out. And that's me as a engineer, mechanic, whatever you wish to call it. So I wouldn't bother doing it. If I want to ride it without motor assistance, I ride it without motor assistance. I just switch it off. Yes, I'll take the battery off maybe, or maybe I won't. I have ridden it out and back without motor assistance. I've ridden it out somewhere and then switched the motor on because I've been tired, and ridden it back with the motor assistance, and it's fine for either. As a point of interest, the same does not apply for my Trek electric mountain bike. I have a Trek Rail 7, I think it is, EMTB, a couple of 3 years old. If I pedal that without the motor assistance, that is a drama. It is proper hard work. It does not feel in any way similar to pedaling a normal bike without the motor assistance. With the motor assistance, it's an e-bike, off it goes. But for the Brompton, it's exactly the same as pedaling a normal bike, because it is a normal bike. The thing with the C-line Brompton, I have, mine wasn't a C-line when I bought it. It was whatever they called it before that. Classic, I think it was. Mine, which was the original C-line, original classic, is a Brompton with the electric added. It's not a purpose-built one. I'd be interested at some point to ride the G-line, because the G-line is a purpose-built electric, they say. So it'd be interesting to see how different that is. But as far as I'm concerned, if I take the battery off or just turn off the power, there is no difference apart from a bit of weight in pedaling mine to pedaling a normal Brompton. And I have ridden both. I also have a video about a conversion I did for somebody to a Switch, and riding her bike before I did the conversion on it was exactly the same as riding mine with the motor assistance turned off, except hers is a little bit lighter than mine. So I would always recommend going to try one before you finally decide anyway, because as I said, my wife doesn't ride hers so much because it hurts her back. Anyone who's watching this, you might find the same. Go and try it. Find a dealer, find a good dealer if you possibly can. I don't think there's too many in the UK rubbish dealers in the Brompton network, because that doesn't sit well with them. So hopefully you can find a good dealer local to you who will let you do a test ride, or maybe they'll rent it to you for half a day and then take the cost of the rental off it if you purchase it or whatever. Or even if you live in the London area, or I'm not sure what other areas they do, find yourself a normal Brompton, because they do Brompton rental, and just give that a try. And then think, okay, well, if I buy this, if I'm going to get an electric one, it's going to weigh a couple of kilos more, but it's going to ride pretty much exactly the same. It's just going to help me with it, because that's what it does. But ideally, find yourself a dealer, go and sit on one, go and ride it about, try it with the motor on and the motor turned off, and see how you get on with it. But again, would I buy it again? Yes, I would. I would look at the G-line now. No, I don't know. I can't decide on the G-line. If I was buying it new now and I didn't have the C-line, would I buy the G-line? I'm not sure. Because at the end of the day, it's still a compromise. Although it's more capable off-road than mine is. I'm not convinced it would be right for what I want to do on it. But that's got nothing to do with this video. So, there you have it. I genuinely do hope that helps. If any one of you have got any comments or other questions, then by all means chuck them below, or over on oldmanwith.com. If you haven't got a subscription to YouTube, then by all means go to oldmanwith.com and stick it on the Ask a Question. I'm happy to answer if I possibly can. Thanks for watching what has now become a long rambling video at 24 minutes 52 seconds. See you in the next one. Bye.